Hey, what's up, gentlemen? Eric, Nitty. Hey, ooh, I want pizza. Pindaro. No, I'm in Florida. Yeah, yeah, maybe one day. I heard the conversation about divorce and remarriage, so that's when I was yeah. And so the Christian perspective, you said it's only about adultery, like if they cheat on you. Yeah, that's kind of like a cop out, right? Because if I just wanted to divorce my wife, I would just cheat. So I'm just you're giving yourself permission. That's kind of a weird interpretation. Like, oh, I can't divorce you, but if I cheat on you, okay, now it's allowed. Hmm. Nope, it's only in Matthew. It's not mentioned in Mark. It's not mentioned in Luke. It's only mentioned in Matthew. And that word is translated adultery, can be, but it also can be translated as fornication. So it's like sexual deviancy. So they so one yeah, yeah. So it's like there so like you have to like ask like why would one say it and not the other two? Why an exception here and not the other two? Yeah, yeah. Correct. Yes. The exact same conversation is in all three of the synoptics, but only Matthew mentions the adultery clause. So theologians have been going crazy over this for centuries. The most Jewish of the gospels. It's the only one that mentions it. Yeah. Yep, correct. Exactly. Exactly. Very very radical, especially by today's standards. So, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, Matthew, when you stop trying to harmonize it as a believer and you just look at it like through secular scholarship, it seems Matthew is a bit unorthodox when it comes to the law. Like if you had Matthew and Paul in front of each other, they would duke it out about the law. Yeah. It's just how it is. It gives me a peace of mind knowing that okay, I can look at this objectively without being bound by one viewpoint, which is dogma. I can transcend the dogma and just look at it like, okay, this is what scholarship says about it, and so it's a little liberating. Yeah, just Paul and Matthew disagreed. I can say, you know what, they disagreed, and that's it. Just yeah, exactly as Eric said. Yeah, and many Christians. So this is why I left Protestantism. Many Protestants divorce and remarry all the time. It's like, okay, they don't really believe it then. Like, the remarriage is a sin, even though Jesus literally said it, and I just couldn't understand why. Um, but because this passage, they just say, oh, okay, if they cheat on you, then you can leave. Well, that means anybody can leave because as soon as you touch another person, you're technically cheating. So what they're saying is Jesus is going into Leviticus, some passage about if you marry a woman thinking she's a virgin, and then she actually lied and she actually is not a virgin, then you can divorce her. And that's what they think Jesus has in mind here, because it resonates with old Matthew being the most lawful Jewish law gospel, and it just makes sense because Jesus, believed in the law. So it's an exception for like Jews. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, it's like a piece of tape that you now use it. You've used it, so it's not as sticky as before. So like you can't. It's like used goods. It's not as good as the pure, cleansing lamb or whatever, undefiled. There you go. Oh man, ouch. He's gonna clip the Catholic symbol on the screen. How embarrassing. Yeah. Yeah, my face isn't on it like Eric's. Oh man. But like, oh, thank you, thank you. I do tutor. I do math and reading. No, no, math and reading. I can't charge for tutoring in Catholicism. You won't find many clients. Hey, a few extra bucks. Ouch. Why not? It's okay. Yeah, yeah. It's a transcendent math. No, no. I'm also a survivor of spiritual abuse. My first church really manipulated me, and my second one, um, I was higher in the ranks, so I helped with the manipulation, but it was nasty. Uh, so to play devil's advocate, uh, abuse and corruption in institutions is not exclusive to religion. Like you find a corruption and abuse in like the education system. Like how many teachers are sleeping with their students? It's oh there you go. There you go. That should be Eric's screen picture now, like his audio avatar. No, it's hilarious. No, put it back. Put it back. It's hilarious. Lighten up. Lighten it up. uh oh no, I was just saying that there's abuse in many institutions. Like I think it's just part of human nature. Corruption. Like you can take away the institution, but you're gonna find it somewhere else. Like there's corruption in families and government and education. So I don't think it's particularly in religion. There you go. Yeah. I was lied to. I was told, "Oh, you're going to be a pastor. God has a special calling on your life." And then no training ever, no calling, no opportunity to minister. And like, okay, I got to go. And like, no, 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 we need you. Like, just being lied to, thinking that you're going to be into ministry. But they really want your tithe and your attendance. Because if you become a minister, that means you'd have to leave that church, right? Or they got to share the pulpit. So that's how I was manipulated at first. Out of that cult, yeah. Thank you. Ooh, oh, that's hilarious. Yes, that's how many believers view women who, it's not.
Other's basement.
Oh,
The
others.
trope is I live in my mom's basement.
Yeah. What a genius name for a channel then.
Oh
right?
yeah.
Awesome. So Andrew, you said, have I talked to you before about why it is or why you are or not a Catholic?
Not particularly Catholic.
Oh. Okay.
It's
But you
from our conversation, Andrew, not to put words in your mouth, I'd say you're probably still figuring things out.
Yeah.
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 Like,
I still have a lot of doubt.
Yeah, and that's totally fair. I mean, it takes time to work through all the questions and stuff that you have to kind of contend with. We all
Yeah.
go through it.
Yeah. Yeah, so I won't give you a hard time on being about like, oh, why do you believe this or that? If you want to talk about particular things that I've changed my beliefs about, or Eric, like, go right ahead. But knowing now that you're in your own journey about these things, I'm not, unless you want to debate about something, I'm not gonna harangue you.
Oh, no. Debates, I don't know. They're not very productive. They're fun for if it's like a wrestling match, but I don't see it getting anywhere between the speakers.
Well, there is that kind of thing that you hear often from both sides of the believing aisle, right? Sometimes it's not really about one side convincing the other per se, but it's about, people listening and hearing those other perspectives and understanding the beliefs and the validity or soundness of their arguments. And that's more of a reason to have the conversation than to particularly persuade the other person.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
not to say though that it's impossible, right?
Oh,
That
no,
or
not
that it's
impossible.
unlikely. Yeah.
Oh,
So
sorry. It's just Eric was showing your picture again, so I got a little
Well,
distracted.
I was doing a BS's thing, like, yeah, get your screenshot ready.
oh, he'll just get the whole thing and like make it slower,
Oh,
faster. He might overlay the Jotaro sounds on it with me
yeah.
me and the pen, and it'll zoom in. It's like
Oh man.
That sound
maybe
like a
I'll do it and make
That
it a
sounded like a
YouTube
Murloc
short.
from. That sounded like a Murloc from World of Warcraft.
Yeah, played way
Murloc.
too much of that game.
Classic.
But yeah, well, now we all have some camaraderie and making it out of herbal groups.
Yep.
Absolutely.
We punched our way out. We're punching our way out, bros. I like it.
That makes us better than the believers. No, I'm kidding.
Oh no, we're our own cult now.
Yeah.
Quick, everyone disband. Don't let them find out.
Yeah.
We have a better cult, but we're not really a cult.
Right. We're the cult of the flying man. Let's go spend
It's a
time on Jay's channel.
It's a non-cult. It's a Nolt. Yeah.
Ooh.
There you go.
Yeah,
That's
we
a
don't
goal.
have any culture. There's no identity. There's no central nitty figure. It's just wait. Kenny says
cult.
spiritual abuse. Ooh, this is interesting. This is a controversial statement by Kenny. Spiritual abuse, you can't be spiritually abused. It's impossible. You can, however, be disenfranchised and misguided by the misrepresentatives of God. Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, we both went for that. Does Satan cause spiritual abuse?
Does Satan cause spiritual abuse?
Take everything done in God's name, all the evil, and just blame Satan. That's a pretty easy cop out.
He's the fall guy.
Well, no, like what I'm saying is, would you characterize possession, temptation, what's the word for accusation, and persecution brought on by Satan as his loving action towards you, benign action, or an attempt to abuse you or disabuse you of your love from God? Right? I don't know how else you can describe Satan purposely trying to hurt you as anything other than abuse, right? Especially if it's repeated, right? He ain't gonna stop. You're his victim. He's got more power.
Yeah, you can. That's the only way to see it, right? Abuse. Like he abused Job, but God's kind of prodding him on, like, "Hey, have you considered,
yo, bro?"
So like it's part of a wager. The whole Job story, that was a wager between God and the devil.
It's a bet. It's a bet. It's a little bet. Like, who's gonna win?
I would now that I think about it, I'd probably answer in the affirmative that like purposely trying over and over to create harm, to use harm to change someone's mind and change their behavior is abusive. Therefore, and Satan is spiritual, so he's a spiritual abuser. It's not hard, right?
I listened to Elaine Pagel's book, The History of Satan. She's a Harvard professor, religious scholar, and we have more about Satan like in the Jewish texts than we do like in the New Testament. And his job is to accuse. It seems like God hired him. So like he's that's his job to do it. Like it's literally he's the hitman.
Right. Yeah, and it's like when I was really into Christianity, we eventually did have to say something like Satan can't do anything that God won't let him. Right? Or Satan only does what God allows.
Yeah.
Which eventually you have to go, that doesn't make me feel very good sometimes. But
yeah, that led when I figured that out, when I made that logical connection, I was like 17, 18. I'm like, oh my goodness. I have to really be obedient. Because the one unleashing the hound is God, not actually him. Like so I became more scared of God than Satan after that. And it was a it was a very frightful view of the Lord that I had for many years.
Yeah. But the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom.
Yeah, you're a kid.
But
You have
that's reverence. Hold on, that's reverence.
Yeah, I think we got a equivocation fallacy going on there.
Oh, what was the other thing? I was going to say something else. Oh, I remember that passage in Job, not so much as God saying, again, but this is a Christian way to try and maybe gerrymander the text. I'm not sure, but, or, fudge it is maybe a better way to say it. Is not that God's like, yo, Satan, check out my boy Job. You know what I mean? Which does make it look like God's kind of a, putting Satan to the test, really. Satan and Job to the test, right? But it's more like the other way to read it is God sees what Satan's doing and he's like, are you bothering my buddy Job? Right? Like what is there something going on here with you, Satan? Are you trying to mess with my dude? Basically to try and downplay the way that God is using that situation, or who's really instigating it here. But do with that what you will. I'm not a Hebrew scholar. I can't give you, the what emotional state each actor in the story is based on the language and the passage. I have no clue. Kip,
like,
we
what's
need
a
a
Hebrew?
scholar stat.
Like, you look at you see a word that's translated the same in like 10 different translations. 1 Samuel 24, God incited David, and then you look at the word incited in Hebrew, and guess what it means in Hebrew? It means incited. Like, it means almost the same thing in Hebrew that it does in English. So I like to go into the original languages to like defend things that, like, you can see the definitions are exactly the same.
Well, there is always the possibility, and I will say this from the comparison of sometimes you'll listen, or I've listened to Kip or Jennifer Bird talk about the range of Hebrew meanings of words. And then when you look at like the root they mention from another passage, or the way a word is translated in another passage, but it's
This is
different
actually
in this
helping me
one
relax, honey.
passage.
I'm actually trying to relax
You
this
can
way.
kind of see that things like even a Strong's or a concordance, they're going to lean
Oh, the
those
screaming got me.
definitions or meanings toward the majority of what they want it to, or where their translation is going to end up, rather than just making all of the potential definitions equal, right? Or the problematic one actually should be probably first for its like cultural usage or whatever. Like a key example would be something like every time in the Hebrew scriptures you see the word wife is just woman. So it changes it changes entirely the way you read, Genesis and the patriarchs and the kings. It's like these aren't wives; they're accruing themselves women, right? There's no
That helps.
ceremony,
Yeah.
or
So
you know what I mean,
Solomon had 700 wives and 300 concubines. It was 700
right?
women.
He had 700 prime women, right? They're
Wow.
the main row, and then the concubines, they're
How are those just not like
that's their job.
super concubines then? Like, I don't understand. I don't
Well,
know.
maybe
Like,
the premise is that those, like the distinction I think between the women and the concubines is that the concubine, I'm presuming it's like their job to be like the sexual entertainer, but the women, if you look at it that way, and how a woman is basically everyone who's had a penis enter them as that covenantal relationship, it's almost like Solomon has had this many sexual conquests, and whether or not those are significant relationships after the fact doesn't matter, because he also has these his sexual cohort to help him out.
Talk about puberty
Welcome.
culture.
Speaking of
Speaking of-
sexual cohort,
Oh, you beat me to it. Damn it. Tux,
great-
you and I think alike. I like
great
you.
minds think alike. I
Yeah.
heard the bat signal go out about a half hour ago, 20 minutes ago.
Funny, that's the kids' pizza.
Walking the dog or something.
Yeah.
Oh, the maybe
You were making a comparison of the evil
you know it.
author or the Loki
Amelia Sami
character.
put it in the leftovers.
Yep.
Anti
That
Yeah.
that
the
that's
anti-hero.
That's your shtick, man. You
Yeah,
can't-
that is.
can't deny it.
Yeah.
And a nitty stream has once again devolved into sex chat.
You saw the
Nice.
background, right, Tux? This happened earlier.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh,
It's all
Yeah.
Nitty's fault. He made it
It's
sexual.
my fault.
He made it sexual
fault.
first.
I blame the Protestants.
I'm going to turn on my studio light and turn off my house lights. But
Yeah.
it may crash my dongle, so forgive me. All right.
All right. Best wishes to you and your dongle.
Thank you.
Like,
what else
I-
was I gonna go at? Go on, Eric.
Anyway, I was going to go on a rant about dongles, but actually, no. First, AR just had a really good. So AR reminded me of something I was thinking about yesterday. So AR says, "How does a man wrangle up to 1,000 women? Sounds like herding cats."
That's a
Pair
lot of
that.
pussy.
Pair that with the no threesome, no foursome, no orgy rules generally in Christianity. Somebody do the math. How long would it take to sleep with 1,000 people individually?
I mean, if you have enough power, it would just take 1,000 days if you did one a day. That'd take 3 years.
3 years.
That's with a one a day regimen here.
Yeah, it's just one a day.
Yeah.
There is this coach, red pill coach. Like he teaches men how to, get the cherry, and he says his body count is like
Whoa.
1,500, and he uses this as a marketing tool, and it's ongoing. Like it keeps growing. So and calls himself a coach. So if he can do it, why not a king? Just some guy on YouTube.
Totally. That's incredible. Not that it's
Solomon-
I'm not saying it's a good thing. I'm just saying it is what it is.
If Solomon copulated with 1,000 women, man, that dude would have been like a petri dish of STIs. Like that
Wayne
dude
says-
was probably just pure 100% walking disease.
Wayne says, a little less than a year if you're motivated.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Do orgies count? Like, whoop, I slipped
According
and
to
fell in another
Christians,
one. And
Orgy's bad according to Christians. So
right.
although multiple women is bad according to Christians, so who knows what rules were applying back then?
I
Isn't
like
it
the
beautiful
joke-
Jesus? Isn't it beautiful Jesus changed so much when he died?
I like to joke that because there's no law against like all the Levitical laws about sexual ethics, right? I think it's just or Levitical Deuteronomy, whatever. They don't
Love you, honey.
have any explicit prohibitions on what women can't do.
Me too.
And so I like to think that the reason that is because if men can have multiple women, then maybe they need them to be able to, take care of themselves, be present for the festivities, right? We can't restrict all the fun now, can we? This is the best part about polygamy. Whoa.
It really just demonstrates though that how in the Bible women are considered to be objects, especially in the Old Testament. Like
Yeah.
this wasn't no man has a need for 1,000 women. Like this is just I am Solomon, I am the richest, I have the most bitches, I have all of this. Like it's just male like chest puffing.
Beep beep, get in
And-
the car.
Yeah, and it's just like it's just so bizarre how people can look at that and go, yeah, this is definitely like a man of God. Like, did God change? Did God look at this behavior and go, this is good? This is my man Solomon. And then all of a sudden Jesus dies, and it's like, oh no, everything Solomon did was bad. Actually, like, does God change his mind? Are the rules different? Did anything change?
Well,
Like,
I
don't-
think
yeah,
to steel man it, let's say that like It's that, that's just indicative of the temptations of the world and the misusing of the blessing that God gave him. Aha, see, I win. I always think now I'm thinking about that story at the end of David's life where they send a girl in to keep him warm or whatever. But
You want a floor
really,
rub?
like a better reading of that
Come
whole
over here. I'll give you a floor
interaction
rub.
is that it's a test to see if he's still what's the word I'm looking for? Sexually prowess or manly enough to still be king. Right? If he can't exert his power over her, he has no actual power for the throne. Yeah.
So
It's a test.
We have to like go outside of the text to try to explain it. But isn't it funny how?
I don't really think so, but
Oh no.
for that one, I don't really think so. I kind of agree that it's a test.
Okay.
well, the difference,
For that one. Now the Solomon one, yeah, you have to just make up something.
the stories of Solomon and David and Saul being kings, or some variation of being control of the kingdom, versus Romans are the power for Jesus. There is no king and kingdom, but Jesus was supposed to be, when there was a return to God, was supposed to be the one in charge, according to basically the apocalyptic preaching. So that's the difference between the two, is we have all the power and now we're meek and we have to sustain the power in an invisible manner or make believe manner.
It's a reinterpretation. It's just after thousands of years of losing, they start to like reinterpret their ideas of victory, and peace, and like now victory becomes like, oh, personal relationship with like God. So but you see that in like how religion just changes like throughout the centuries. It adapts, it grows, it reinterprets, it progresses. It really does. And you can see it just within the Bible.
Let's see, where was
Is it bourbon 30?
Absolutely, go for it. Straight from the bottle.
damn. Dang it.
I'm drinking
Hold
from
on.
a
I'm
25
looking at this
ounce.
passage here.
Wow, just the green screen. Wow, it's totally okay. This is a 25 ounce can, by the way. So.
There's like this apologetics website. I think it's got questions that like totally tries to write off the intentions of that intentions of that woman being brought to David. And it's hilarious. But
Really?
as soon
Come here,
as
do you
you
want a
read
floor rub?
verse 4, it seems very clear. Like they're emphasizing it's First Kings. I want to say it's 1:4 as far as the reference was. But as soon as you read verse 4, and the king did not know her, like why the fuck would you bring that up if it wasn't about sex at all? Right? It's like, oh, this beautiful woman couldn't keep him warm. End of story. Right? But you got to say he didn't know her. He didn't, nothing to see here. Right?
I
Like, no,
remember.
wait a minute. Why is that important?
Yeah, I remember a conversation like this being had in my conversation during a meeting, because David's famous for Bathsheba, the Bathsheba incident, where he manipulated circumstances that her husband was on the front line to die, so he could take her for himself. And then God killed their baby. And then later on in life, David had women to sleep with him in bed to keep him warm, or something along those lines.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember the witnesses in the congregation were like trying to fill in all kinds of like gaps to try to like reconcile this. David got punished for sexual impropriety and manipulating and murder. But then later on, he's like, but he still has like women he can play with in bed. And the rationalization was, oh, David never touched them in any sexual way. They were just there to keep him warm. I remember saying at the time, I was like, well, why can't as a guy do that? Like, why just put a pig in his like literally just take a pig and put it in the bed. Like pigs are warm. Just sit there and cuddle that pig like a body pillow at night. You're plenty warm. Why did it have to be women? Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Well, the other one, what was about the Uriah thing? I had a suspicion that story should actually be something like reversed. It's that he brought Uriah in and took note of Bathsheba, got Uriah killed so that he could have Bathsheba. But I can't remember why I thought of it that way. It had something to do with like just trying to touch up how bad David actually was, right? Or that there might have been a tradition that David was actually worse. So this is a slightly better version of the story to go with, but I don't have any real grounds for it. I think someone deflated my theory about that, but
Well,
I just thought it was
it's presented
interesting.
twice, right? Like in Samuel, it's a worse presentation. It's more negative. But then the
Yeah.
Chronicles, the way they retell everything, it's more like legendary, much cleaner, much more grandizer. It's like obviously it was written hundreds of years later, trying to glorify, and clean up the mess.
Right. Yeah. Chronicles, David. I forgot that that's actually in Chronicles, huh? David and Bathsheba's in Chronicles.
It's twice. It's
Oh,
two
Chronicles
renderings.
120. Yeah.
David
huh.
looks more like a Superman in Chronicles, where like
Oh shit.
in Samuel he looks like Omni-Man from like Invincible.
That's hilarious. I didn't know that. Huh. It shows how much I read Chronicles. Well, thanks for that. That's actually really helpful and interesting. I'll have to go back through that. Yeah, who has the parrot or the monkey? Is that you, Andrew?
Parrot monkey, what? No,
We heard like a bird sound.
not me.
Interesting.
I don't have.
Weird.
I had
My
guinea
wife had-
pigs, but I threw them away 6 months ago.
You threw them
guinea
away?
pigs?
No, I mean I gave them up for adoption. Not literally in the
Ah.
garbage, but in a box. I put them in a box with a bunch of hay.
You might want to say that next time.
Sorry.
Yeah. I thought I was talking
It's
to
like, I'm done
a
with you.
guinea-cidal murderer. You
Guinea-cidal.
committed guinea-cide.
Sorry.
Oh, that's hilarious. No, it's okay. We're just busting your balls.
The word of the day is guinea-side.
Guinea side.
I'm added to my vocabulary.
Wasn't that like Pee-wee's Playhouse or something? They'd have like a silly word of the day, and then like,
Yeah.
it like freak out. Oh my god, I can't believe I remember that show. Lawrence Fishburne as what was the?
He was a cowboy.
Cowboy, yeah.
Yeah.
But I want to remember the name of the cowboy. Yeah.
I don't remember the show that much.
I'm probably very disturbing as like if I became a Pee-wee streamer.
It's Cowboy
What if I
Curtis.
did-
Cowboy Curtis. Yeah.
What if I did come on stream like wearing a gray suit coat and a red bow tie every time from now on? Well, let me
You
tell you about a
could.
cult today.
You could totally pull off Pee Wee Herman, actually. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you could do it.
Whoa, some pretty crazy
I'll
things
I'll
happened
switch to
while I was in
tequila.
church.
Instead of bourbon, I'll switch to tequila.
Yeah.
I was watching Sean McDowell yesterday, and he made some wild claims with Gary Habermas.
Oh my. You know, I
Have
could
you
have
heard
closed my
that
eyes
Rose
and
from the
rewound.
dead?
That might draw an audience, actually.
Might. Yeah. I swear you could blindfold me and tell me that everything that Gary Habermas said today was said 2 years ago, and I would believe you. Like, I don't think there's anything that I heard that was new information today.
Could it be that his magnum opus is just a huge gish gallop of everything we've heard before?
I mean, the only thing that I think I drew from it is he said he retook his survey, and now there's 80 something 83.2, something like that, of the scholars believe in the resurrection. Was it, or empty tomb? I don't remember what it was.
80-something.2% of the Christian scholars believe in the resurrection.
No, all scholars.
Interested to see that.
I think that's what it was. I don't. I'm going
No,
from
not the
memory.
resurrection. The minimum facts: an empty tomb. Disciples declared he was resurrected. Things that can be bare minimum can be proven historically. That 7 letters of Paul are genuine. It's all.
And if I remember correctly, what was the request from Pine Creek that Gary Habermas said, "Hey, I'm not going to work with you anymore," instead of answering it? Like, who are the scholars? What was the challenge that Pine Creek gave Gary that Gary reneged on? Because he said he would
I don't know.
get the list to Doug for something, and then reneged on it.
I think one of the challenges was to name secular historical scholars after looking over
The evidence
data for the resurrection converted to Christianity.
converted to Christianity. That's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, all of a
scholars
sudden-
who started out as agnostic.
Yeah. Like the number of times that he mentioned Mike Lacona, and to me, that is a scholar who's critically looked at the information and has leaned more towards the, maybe not atheist side, but definitely towards the middle of, where he's at, what he says, what he repeats from other scholars and fact checks and does diligence on. Mike Lacona clearly has an honest mind and heart, so to speak, on the matter, even though he's still a follower. I trust that Mike Lacona is going to be honest about the facts at their face value, because many times he's had to correct people to say, "Hey, this might not be exactly what you think it is."
I don't know if you want to
I
call
thought
it honest about the facts. It's just that they still have the belief, so it influences their decision making. But it's really in a subconscious level. Like Raymond Brown was a scholar, one of the premier New Testament scholars of all time. All right, he was a Catholic, but he separated history from belief all the time. He said, "Look, this was made up totally. There was no spear shoved into the water of Jesus. This is made up. The virgin births are made up." But then he separated his historical research from, okay, I believe this as a Catholic. So I think they try to be honest, but
yeah, there is a difference, and I think Gary Habermas was guilty of it today, that he was using Jesus in the historical and the verifications of people who believe Jesus in the historical. But I think Gary Habermas knows exactly what he's doing when he invokes the name Jesus, even mentioning it in the historical setting, that his followers and the people who buy his books and the people who make him famous are going to hear Jesus as God, or in parentheses, as a God. And he conflates, or has the magic of conflating, the two effortlessly.
I find an opening.
Right. Well, and a lot of what I heard about the content
So you
of
don't
the
want to-
book and the arguments that he just marched on through, like you, Tux, like we could just replay like a Craig stream, a debate from 5 years ago. Like there literally is nothing new when you condense that content down to what he gave on that stream. Like I don't know how in the world like those 800 pages are going to say anything different than the Lee Strobel book I could go walk over on the shelf and pick up and bring over here. The only reason I have it is because the wife wants to keep it. And just read it off to you. And it's like 50 pages. I'm kidding. But in between his like testimony and garbage like that. So yeah, I have no clue. But I'm with you guys that it's just like nothing new here. Like why am I here?
And I do like the comment that you made that Kip was going cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs in that freaking chat.
Oh, it was hilarious.
Like I can't tell you how many times I saw him write nonsense in all caps.
Oh, that's what I was gonna say. It's that, you know, every opportunity he has to say that there's evidence, the Bible is the immediate primary source, which is like just not how history usually works. And our standards now are far and away higher for like evaluating critical historical claims than what Christians accept for
No, no
the
se rompió.
supernatural ones. Like it's almost so crazy, to be honest.
Yeah. There was a short that I watched earlier today that it was somebody talking about if you talk to Jesus right now and you accept him into your heart, you'll get all these communications and everything like that. And I was like, man, I could talk to my Comcast remote and get more resolved than I will from Jesus. And
Yeah.
his response was very nice, bless you or something like that, with a heart. Clearly not finding my humor acceptable in the eyes of Jesus. But that's the thing. We live in a world where my remote listens to me, and there is definitely a reaction. And my phone has Siri, and my countertop has Alexa, and my car has Hey BMW, and my
I love you. Honey.
even my computer has some sort of voice command that I can activate if
Want to watch something
with,
again today?
I think, Siri on my Mac as well. So all of these things are interactive, and I'm pretty certain that I could have a interaction with an authenticated Google server from heaven, direct from heaven, and it would interrupt my free will no more, no less than a book written somewhere between 3,200 years ago and 1,900 years ago.
Yeah.
Could be
Sounds about
wrong.
right.
I could be wrong, but a God who really does love you and wants you to, be more than just a panpsychist type of entity, would probably have the capability of the equivalency of a printing press coming into view 500-600 years ago, and scribes coming in,
Just
I don't know,
just a
3,500 years ago.
a flying printing press, just shooting off little pamphlets in a language everybody
Yeah.
can understand. Yeah,
Yeah, it's
amazing for
Pretty sweet.
such a smart, all loving, all powerful God. He really takes very human approaches to solving problems.
Hmm.
I wonder
It's like
why.
the God that needs a spaceship or something.
Yeah, and to be honest, like there are so many problems that are not solved that if they were to be solved supernaturally, I'm sure everyone in this panel would convert tomorrow. Like if childhood hunger would just
Oh, yeah.
literally vanish tomorrow, and wars, like world peace, right? I'm sure that would be evidence enough. It's like I have to ask, why not just do something like that? Um, like one of the prophecies in Matthew is, oh, his lots will be divided amongst the wicked. Like, okay, so a fulfillment of prophecy is that Jesus' clothes will be split up. Like, can we do something a little bit more like substantial? Like,
Yeah.
Future world specific instead of wars and rumors of wars. That's
Yeah.
something that happens all the time.
Earthquakes increasing. Yeah.
We're all
Oh, did you guys watch Genetically Modified Skeptic and his wife on the Antibot channel today?
No.
I saw it. I saw the thumbnail. I didn't watch it yet.
They watched things like different Instagram and TikTok, Christian TikTok things. And like one of them was like, God's going to do something to shake this world and really show himself. And then they cut to a clip like a couple days later of like this massive earthquake in Japan. Like, see, it's like really gross. shit like that. It's just like, oh my god, this is horrible.
You know what's Christopher Columbus went to a bunch of natives and he said, "My God is real, and I'll prove it to you. In 5 days, the sun will disappear." And
I
then
know the story. Yeah.
it was like a lunar eclipse. And then when that or something like that, when it happened, they all like give him his property, and they said, "Okay, yes, yes, please make it stop, make it stop." So
Knowledge is
Oh
power.
wow,
Because
he
he
knew
had
about the lunar eclipse from just general.
he
Yeah.
basically had an almanac on him. Like
Okay,
he had the prediction in front of him because science gave him that. But then he then used it to mislead the inhabitants to think that he had some type of divine power.
damn. Oh,
By the way, Mr. Deity used one of my favorite quotes of all time from Seneca today.
oh yeah.
It's something like the religion is for religion is believed by the fools. To the wise, it is. I'm gonna butcher it. I haven't memorized it for some reason. To the wise, it's
Foolishness.
foolishness, and to the politicians, it's useful.
The quote is from Seneca: "Religions regarded by the common people as true, by the wise as false, and by rulers as useful."
Yeah, I heard that today too,
That
and I
was-
was like, oof.
That was in response to the idea that Hitler was not a Christian. True or not, Hitler found religion very useful in swaying people to do atrocities. That's
Yeah,
doesn't get religion off the hook if Hitler was non-religious.
right. Especially with the belt buckles.
Yeah.
And I actually found out that the German state had methodically replaced Bibles with a that were like literally the Nazi, pro-Nazi, anti-Jewish Bibles. Like they went through and like this was the new German Standard Bible where they took out, I think, most of the Old Testament, anything that made the Jews look good in the New Testament, and then bam,
Kind of like the slavery Bible, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Just
It's
basically
I did not know that.
Just edit it down to make it say what you want it to say.
Yeah. Here, let's see. I'll have to try and dig up what's the Aryan Jesus. Yeah. Let's see. There's like a talk given by a woman who went over like the history of Christianity during like the state of the German church basically during the Nazi Reich. It was pretty wild. So yeah. Oh yeah. This is pretty crazy. Inter Caetera authorized European Christendom to lay claim on any lands not occupied by Christians, including its inhabitants.
ouch.
Yeah.
You guys are making me look bad here.
I'm sorry. Yeah, the
Oh.
Pope didn't have much to say at the time about stopping the Reich at first.
Well, Hitler made it onto what is it, Time magazine?
Yeah.
So he tricked us all. Like he was like man of the year, I think.
Whoa. The
Yeah.
Weimar Republic was a success, apparently. He solved their economy, I guess. Amazing how much hate can get done.
Yeah, Hitler was Time Magazine's Man of the Year in 1938.
So he didn't
Those are
just
the
trick the church; he tricked all of us.
Yeah.
Damn.
You think the church would know better,
Now-
though? But
Now I
yeah,
need a
mean,
shower. That makes me feel dirty.
It's just humans, and yeah, Hitler tricked a lot of people up until the war.
Wow.
That's how he got into power.
I have a favorite saying that I'm trying to teach my kids to remember. It takes moments to destroy what took years to build. And so that they can better understand the value of the things that they work for, the privileges they enjoy now, and how easily they could lose all of those things if they're not careful. and how important it is not to just beat your toys up.
As Spock said in Star Trek II, as a matter of cosmic history, it's always been easier to destroy than to create.
Yeah.
Oh wow, I channeled some Spock.
Yeah.
I knew it wasn't original to me, but yeah, it's a more succinct way of putting it. Send me that so I can be more Spockish to my kids.
I think everyone should be more Spockish. Spock is just awesome.
Yeah, send it to me on Discord or something.
Sure.
All right, well, I'm gonna wind this down. Mikey just shows up. So I'm gonna wind this down. I think
Mikey,
this has
late
been
to
a
the
good
party,
stream.
man.
Yeah.
We got to talk through a lot of stuff, and it was really cool hanging out with you guys. Thanks for everyone who's tuned in. Got a lot of likes this time. It was really fun. So what do you guys got going on the rest of the night, the rest of this week? Eric, you've got a stream tomorrow. You want to tell us about that?
Sure. Yeah, I got my third installment of Stream Epistemology tomorrow at 6:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Hopefully we'll have a theist caller or two, but still figuring out what I want to talk about in the empty space between callers. You gave me a really good idea earlier, and it's already left my goldfish brain. So, but anyway, yeah, I'm gonna have some topic to talk about, and yeah, hopefully have a caller or two and hang out a little bit. So that'll be my day tomorrow.
Well, we'll try and jog your memory on what
Yeah.
that idea was.
I have no idea why my memory's so bad.
Couldn't be drinking a beer. Right
Fosters.
now.
Little Fosters. Just
Foster,
an oil can of Fosters.
You gonna stream about Habermas tonight, Jimmy?
No, my next thing is objective morality because, that subject, nobody ever touches on it. So
Oh,
why
yeah.
should I? Why should I? And then I've got another one that somebody had asked me in a chat or a comment about if I believe planets exist. And I answered that question and I didn't get a response after I answered it. And it's kind of in the same category of I have a remote that I can talk to these days and I get better response than I do from prayer. So
Interesting. I feel
There's
like
something
someone
in that
asking
category.
that question is trying to imply that like the heavenly bodies are just something that we perceive here on earth but aren't really there. You know what I mean? Like Rebel Nazarene would come around here, flat earth,
I did too, and you don't laugh, but he laughs.
firmament cosmology person. Yeah, Andrew, this was a real person. Call us globe spiricists and all this stuff. He's like, yeah, but all those stars and the luminaries and things like that, those are angels and things that God allows us to see through the firmament. And I'm just like,
I think I've also
right.
figured out how to do my Shroud episode in 15 minutes. So I think that's going to come out. Yeah,
I mean, me.
because basically to go over all the information, it's just profound how much time suck it is.
Yeah.
And I think I figured out a way to make it a 15-minute video. I send it off to be just somewhere if you know anybody who wants to zhush it up.
Okay.
All right,
You're
gentlemen.
describing-
It was a pleasure.
Oh, Andrew, thanks for coming on.
Yeah.
Nice to see you
Andrew?
guys. Hang out.
Love the Alpha Omega
Okay, fine.
Cairo symbol there.
Thank you. Blessings to all. Bye.
All right, man. Have a good night.
Type bless.
Yeah, thanks for
And then life,
of course it is. Well done. You're always welcome here.
what you were describing there, Jimmy, is called Brandolini's Law.